I would be a star among my friends if I offered them a place like this to play cricket. What it is like to live in the Austrian countryside. If you get to see this, you get to live here, then you got to be friendly. You cannot be pissed. Actually, I find it amazing when people complain about air quality here. They should go and visit New Delhi. He's very happy to greet me actually. A lot of people prioritize nature, tranquility. Countries are at different levels of development, and come to Europe or to come to this part of Europe, try to add a place like this to your itinerary. That's what they mean when they say get your ducks in a row. So this is important, to respect the rule of the land. So it was economically hit very hard, physically as well, right? From Russians and as well as from Americans, because in my mind, this is true Austria. Hi everyone. So today we are going to explore the village of Katersdorf. This is a small village, a standard village, I guess, in Austria, and we are going to see how it is like. So I just started walking. So this is another village, the village we are staying in. You can see it's a beautiful castle. Very old structures here, you can see here. Although pretty tech savvy, pretty green. You can see they have also the solar panels here. Nice tidy homes in a good shape. So this is a street that connects this village with other villages, and eventually, of course, you can reach some of the bigger towns. So we are in south of Austria, in the area of Klagenfurt, Volkermarkt. So this is a Gasthof. It's like a restaurant. They call it Gasthof, but also it has actually some rooms. So one can also stay here. I think upstairs they have some rooms, very well kept. You can see the roads are in a very good shape, very tidy. Austrian villages are quite beautiful. They are very neat. Very quiet. So this is August. We are approaching the end of August slowly but surely. Summer is not going to be lasting forever. So here's a little hill. There used to be a king king here, and there used to be a castle on the top. It is, I mean, the ruins are still there. This is the way that will take you up there. So today the idea is to kind of understand what it is like to live in the Austrian countryside. I don't know if this is extrapolatable. You cannot necessarily extrapolate this to apply this to other European cities or villages, because countries are at different levels of development, and the economies, some are stronger, some are a bit weaker. So one cannot just look at this village and say, oh yeah, all villages look like this. Although I would say that villages in Switzerland, as you know, I have lived in Switzerland as well as in Germany, I can say that villages in Switzerland tend to be similar. Hello. So we have come out of the town of Mittertrixen, and now we are basically walking past some cornfield here to my left. Let's see how the houses here look like. So you can see this is kind of a village house. Again, very tidy compared to villages in the US. I think they are a bit untidy, I would say. But this is extremely clean, very tidy, pretty modern actually. These are the kind of homes that you see in the cities as well in Austria. So here there is a, so here we see a football field. Well, they have some ducks here. There's a sign, Bitte langsam, please be slow. Spielende Kinder, playing kids. You can see here we have some tennis courts as well. So yeah, amenities you expect, or usually you don't expect in a village, but you expect in cities. But you know, this is one of the most developed countries, one of the strongest economies in the world. So these kind of things, these kind of facilities or amenities are not that uncommon even in villages in Austria or in most developed or highly developed parts of Europe, I would say. A Subaru just passed by. People like Subaru here. So what you see here is basically the town of sorry, I keep saying town, is the village of Gattersdorf. Again, this is south of Austria and close to a city called Klagenfurt. We are almost 30 kilometers northeast, mostly east of Klagenfurt, I would say. And the closest big town would be Volkermarkt. But so peaceful here. How people are living here, you know, what has changed in the last 15-20 years. Are people moving out after they get their education? Because I guess 30, 40, 50 years ago, a lot of people were not really going to the universities, they were just farming, right? Or doing some working in the local economy somehow. But now a lot of people, a lot of kids are going to schools, universities, and then I know personally that a lot of people are going to bigger cities like Vienna and Graz for their higher education. And the question is that, are they coming back, or they're not coming back because there's lack of jobs probably here, right? So let's see. I have not come across anybody walking here so far. That gives you kind of a sense of how quiet it is. Sunflower season is kind of over now, but you still see some sunflowers here. But yeah, a lot of space, very tidy, no weird smell so far. A road quality check. I have to say I'm not disappointed. I like these roads. I mean, this is really a remote part of the country, and you have pretty high quality of infrastructure. So here we enter the town of Gottersdorf, Austria. So there's another car approaching from behind me. A Citroën Picasso C4, a French car. Okay, so we have officially entered the village. I mean, this doesn't look like a village to me. Looks very modern. Look at this house here. Beautiful views to the mountains in the south. Some apple here. A lot of apples here actually. Yeah, the homes are in a pretty good shape actually. Well, I saw a soul now. The first individual here outside of his car. Seems there is a nice little stream here. Let's see. There's a nice stream here. This is drinking quality water. I mean, of course, it has been very dry, very hot summer, so there's not much water in here. You can see here, it's very high quality, very clean water. It's a resident here, I think, resident of Gottersdorf. I'm sure they are not used to seeing any outsider, let alone an outsider who looks a little different. Some beautiful homes actually. There's a lot of grass here. I would love to play cricket. I wish I had a place like this when I was growing up. You know, I would be a star among my friends if I offered them a place like this to play cricket. Yeah, so my assessment is the place has really very modern homes. Most homes, actually almost all homes I would say, are in very good shape, very well kept. Austrians are very well known for this. They take a lot of pride in keeping things top notch. Yeah, I thought it would be a shame if I don't show you this. What I find amazing is that in Austria you can just drive anywhere from any big city like Vienna or Graz, and within like 20 minutes, half an hour, or even less, and sometimes within those cities itself, you will have pure nature. I mean, I know growing up in India, if you ever wanted to witness this, you will have to spend a lot of money to get to some hill station, what we call hill stations. And still, it will be a struggle to find peace, to find tranquility. This is certainly not a problem here in Austria. Well, I think this is something interesting. A little church here, mini church for people who don't want to walk up the hill. They can already pay their homage down here, because the main church from the village is a little bit uphill from here, where we're gonna eventually be. So I think the population of this town, from what I've heard, village, not a town, is around 150 people. I mean, that is incredible, because if you put things into perspective, you would have 10 times of that in a single building in any major Indian city, right? You can be in Mumbai, you can be in Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad. It's pretty mind-boggling how much space to breathe. Well, I have to breathe a bit heavy right now because it was a bit of a climb. So you can see nice good sized homes actually. They love yellow here, different variations of yellow and white. Roofs are all red. Okay. So here's I would say officially the center of the village, a Catholic church. It's amazing how quiet it is. It's not like 2 a.m. It's almost 4 p.m. right now. It's in the afternoon. It's amazingly quiet. So I'm trying to see when this was built. So it looks like, so it is a Gothic thing, 1515. So that is more than 500 years old. Okay, that's old, but not Europe old. So as I said, the place is rather small. Typical Austrian village, one would call it. No, it's not typical, I think, depending on where you are in Austria. But yeah, for this part, of course, it's typical. It's not too big. As you know, I've lived in Austria for almost 10 years altogether, and I know a thing or two because my wife is also Austrian. So Some villages, or a lot of villages, can be pretty noisy because they often have a main street or something passing through. But this town, this village, does not. Look at this view. Well, we saw a couple of kids here. I don't want to record anyone without their consent, but it's very nice. They are learning. Hallo. Hallo, wie geht's?
Ja gut, Radlfahren üben.
Ja, wichtig.
Ja. So, und jetzt?
Wichtig, aber schwer auch, oder?
Ja, das schon. Ja.
So, yeah, my favorite dog is coming. He's approaching me. He always likes to bark at me. So the lady was telling me that, see, here he comes. He's such a cute dog. Chulo. Here you go. What a cute dog. See, he can be free here. No fear of traffic, no fear of somebody just taking him away. Can live freely. You know, no stress. Chulo de Susa. Oh, de Susi. Chulo de Susa. See, he's a cute dog. He's very happy to greet me actually. Oh. Ja, die Soße, wie heißt du? Wie heißt du? Jo, die Soße, du Lundi Bundi. Jo, Baby. Wie geht es dir? I'm just talking German with him because he must be used to that. Jo, okay. Okay, you have to go back to perform your duties around your home, right? Really cute dog. So here we can see, as I told you, I was struggling a bit, right? Climbing up this hill. But what a view. So just to give you some context, the bigger mountains in the back you're looking at, it's the Karawankan range. It's part of Alps actually. A lot of people think of all the Swiss Alps, but Alps run through Austria as well. Actually, Austria, the highest mountain in Austria, which is Grossglockner, is higher than the highest mountain in, well, I have to be careful. I think it is higher than Matterhorn in Switzerland. But I will have to double check. But yeah, essentially Austria has a lot of mountains, beautiful landscape, a lot of skiing, amazing skiing places in Austria. Austria is big on winter sports, always performs pretty well, a lot of medals in winter sports, as you can imagine. So this cute guy who came to say hello to me came out of this house. Yeah, it's amazing. I think the quality of life here is just awesome because people have everything. Hello. People have everything they need, and yet they have a quality of life that you don't get to see at other places. Right? People are friendly also, I have to say. Probably they are friendlier than people in the cities, for sure. I mean, that's pretty clear. And why won't you be, right? If you get to see this, you get to live here, then you got to be friendly. You cannot be pissed. Even I cannot be pissed here. A person like myself who's pissed most of the times, you know. Even I would struggle to be pissed here. So, I think in the distance you can see that castle. the big building, let's put it this way, with the huge red roof. So we are essentially staying next to that building, right? The place we are renting, the house we are renting, it is next to that. And that is the town, again town, that is the village of Mittertrixen. But yeah, this is just, it's just breathtaking what you have here. Whew. A nice breeze is picking up now, which is a relief. You know, one common question people have these days is, because of, you know, all the globalization, technology advancement, the changing, you know, economies with less focus on agriculture and maybe more focus on industrialization, right? People always wonder, you know, what is happening to these kind of villages. I can speak for Austria and for Italy, for example. I've spent a lot of time in Italy. I've lived in Italy as well. I think in Austria they have something special. They are doing a very good job in keeping these areas, these villages, and certainly because the economies of these places, these rather remote places, in a very good shape. I think Austria is very good at helping its farmers be profitable. I think they give them a lot of subsidies and grants to help them out. They help them out when, for example, you know, this summer has been devastating in terms of agriculture. You can see here, you know, the fields look really dry. And this is a huge loss, right? But I have learned that in Austria, the Austrian government is pretty good at helping farmers, you know, stay viable through these difficult times. And I think that is what differentiates Austria from a place like Italy. I'm not sure what's going on in Italy, but as I said, I have lived there. I have seen a lot. I think the remote places look really bad. You know, they are in very bad shape. The infrastructure is really bad. Even smaller towns are kind of hollowed out. You know, the economy is very bad. People are just leaving. They don't want to stay there. And I think that kind of a hard-working mentality you see in Austria, even in the new generation who, you know, growing up in these villages, they feel, you know, they have this legacy, you know, they are inheriting this legacy from their parents and grandparents and whatnot, and they want to work hard and they want to maintain this. And from what I have learned about Italy and, you know, what's happening there, that kind of a feeling, that kind of commitment is rather lacking, you know. So, and that has resulted in very different outcomes in the way, you know, the places look, because Italy is not far from here. You look at that particular mountain in the back. Let me see if I can get a better shot. So the biggest mountain here you see in this direction. Basically south of that, you drive like, from here you drive like 40 minutes, you are in Italy. But it's, I think it's a whole different world. The economies are really at a very different level in Austria and in Italy. And again, it boils down to the present generation or my generation taking a lot of pride in maintaining in what their grandparents, their parents have built with a lot of hard work. Now you have to imagine this is one of the countries, you know, which was on the receiving end during the World War, right? It was basically the Hitler country at the time. So it was financially economically hit very hard, physically as well, right? From Russians and as well as from Americans, because they came to take care of Nazis, right? And then people had nothing. I learned this from my wife, whose grandparents, of course, were pretty young at the time, and they witnessed this. They went through this, and they were able to, despite all those hardships, they were able to come through this very strong and very well. And you can see the result. I mean, a country that looks like this, infrastructure that looks like this, even in villages, that kind of tells you, how hard people have worked and with what conviction they have worked. And this is really inspiring, I have to say. And I think anybody who gets a chance to come to Europe or to come to this part of Europe, try to add a place like this to your itinerary. You can stay here rather inexpensive. You will get to see real Europe. This is real Europe in my mind. Most of Austrian population is not living in Vienna and in the big cities. It is still in the countryside. So I think people should put this on their itinerary as an important thing to do. They should come here. They should see. People from India, for example, they should come. A lot of Indians are coming and visiting Austria, right, or Switzerland. And I would encourage them to consider a place like this, for example, or another village or smaller town in Austria, and see, what they have built. And it is beautiful, right? One of the reasons you spend so much money and you make such an effort to come to visit Europe is to really see how it is like to live here, right? Cities are not really representative, I would say. I often say that if you are living in Vienna, you are not really living in Austria, because in my mind, this is true Austria. This is just fascinating. This is just amazing. Okay, now I am kind of heading back to my town. Sorry, village. Full respect for these ducks here. No rush. You got to wait, right? You got to wait. This is life. This is a village life in Austria. True peace, true tranquility, no stress. But the question is, would it suck after a while? Right? I don't know. Well, clearly they are a bit unclear where they want to go. Well, eventually they realized where they belong. Look at these guys here. This is called get your ducks in a row. Right? That's what they mean when they say get your ducks in a row. They are really in a row, right? So now we are kind of walking to the other side of the village, the main bridge. I'm gonna see if I find someone who is willing to talk and be on the camera, which can be a challenge here in Austria. People are extremely private. They don't really like to talk to strangers. Not just kids, you know. Anyways, look at this, what we found here. They look pretty healthy and happy. There's some chickens here. There's a cock there also. Oh man, that looks good. I hope I'm capturing it quite okay. So I guess what I would say is that people have all the modern day amenities living in this village even, or any village in Austria, I guess. Yet they have, you know, things that you typically associate a village life with. So that's kind of the best of both worlds, right? That's what they have here. It's getting extremely humid. I don't know how high the humidity is, but thank God it's not so hot. The temperatures are still like 25, 26 degrees, I guess. So important to show you this. You see a lot of cut wood stored, and this is what a lot of people, or most people who live in the countryside in Austria, do. They cut wood from their forest. A lot of people own forests here, or most people probably own forests, and they cut their own wood themselves. They store it and they use it for winter. They have these wood ovens, wood heating systems in their homes, and this is the fuel. Now this is kind of very interesting, right? You would think such a modern country, such an advanced country, advanced economy and whatnot, why won't they just use gas or electricity, right, for heating? So the answer is that people still are quite traditional. You know, they like to save money where it is possible, and they also feel that since they have to take care, you know, this is like forest management, right? So as part of forest management, you have to cut trees. It's not that they are just cutting trees recklessly. It's all well regulated. It's predetermined which trees have to go, because as part of forest management, you need to do that. It's not deforestation. So yeah, they store this wood and they use it for winter, which can be pretty extreme here, right? You have like sub-zero temperatures, -10, -15. This last winter we had temperatures like -20. So you need a lot of heating, and this is the fuel for that heating. They are storing all this wood for tough times. So this looks like an animal shelter to me over here, but I don't think they have animals anymore. I think they used to have cattle and, you know, pigs and stuff, which poor souls go to slaughterhouses eventually, or they're slaughtered locally, domestically. A lot of farmers also take care of their, by take care I mean they kill their pigs themselves. So that's not uncommon. So yeah, that is village life for you. So now we are exiting the town. She didn't even want to say hello. She was like wondering, who the fuck is this? So this is the sign that, okay, you're village is over here in Gottersdorf. A red line running diagonally through it. And also the speed limit of 30 is over, so you can go crazy here. Yeah, it's beautiful. I think people wonder, like, what is it, what are people doing here, right? And they may think that, okay, all people living here are just having their farms, you know, and or are basically farmers, but that's not the case. I think most of the people, current generation, my generation, actually they're working in the town, so they drive from here to the local towns or close by towns like Volkamark to Klagenfurt and whatnot, and they work there. They have normal jobs. Some have office jobs, some are working in the bank, some are working in grocery stores, so some are working in hardware stores. Yeah, just like normal jobs. They decide to stay in their family homes because they inherited them, and they have more space. They are used to living in, you know, this beautiful environment, and one practical reason, they don't have to pay rent or buy another property in the city. So financially it makes a lot of sense as well. But yeah, it's a good mix of people. A lot of people also have their employers in bigger cities, and they're working remotely thanks to internet. It's available everywhere. You can get high-speed internet here easily. Cell phone connectivity is extremely good. So yeah, they work remotely. Some of them have to go, you know, to show their face like once a month. I have met a couple of people actually who are doing that. But yeah, they prefer to live here because it's who want, right? Now, the downside of living here would be access to a grocery store. There is no grocery store here. Every time you need something, it's like in America, you have to take out your car. You cannot live without a car. You need a car here. In most European cities, if you're living there, you don't need a car. You can easily live without a car because everything is there, right there. The cities have been built in a way that people don't have to buy a car in order to live good lives, you know. But that's not the case here. If you live here, then you really need to have a car. It's just not possible otherwise. So that is a downside. You cannot just spontaneously decide to go and buy an ice cream or to go and eat a pizza. Also, there is no bank here. There is not even an ATM machine here, you know. So that is a downside. But as I said, a lot of people living here are actually going to the city or to the neighboring cities to work. So it's not a big deal, you know. Yeah. So that's how it is, right? There are always some trade-offs, and the question is, what do you really prioritize? A lot of people prioritize nature, tranquility, space, you know, air quality. Although I have to say, you know, I mean, air quality, right? Even if you live in Vienna or in the city where I live, which is Graz, air quality is pretty good there, you know. Actually, I find it amazing when people complain about air quality here. They should go and visit New Delhi. Not only New Delhi, right? I mean, even if you go to some of the remote, some villages, right? I originally come from a village in Haryana, and I usually visit India like in September, October, November time, and or sometimes, you know, in February, March. And they have all these fires, you know, in the man-made fires. which are, I think, illegal, but nobody cares. You know, they set there after harvest, they set these fields on fire because they don't want to roll it up and, you know, address the issue in a systematic, in a proper manner. So, but yeah, the air quality is amazing here, water quality is amazing. You can drink out of the tap, you know. I mean, I don't know anybody who ever sells or buys a filter here. I've never seen a filter here. What would you use it for? Probably filter is gonna add some impurities, you know, as it goes through the filtration process. Just drink it out of the tap. It's amazing water quality. So when I was living in the US, or we were living in the US, me and my wife, in 2018, we came back to Austria just for a visit because our family is here. And it was such a shock because when I washed my hair and after it dried, I realized how smooth my hair was as compared to living in San Diego, you know, which has such hard water. And here it's just another world, you know. So the quality of water, the quality of food also is mind-boggling, you know, the difference that you see. So yeah, so now we are approaching the village where we are staying. As I told you earlier, the name is Mittarriksen. I don't know what it means, but yeah, it's an interesting name. Mitta means middle. I don't know what Triksen means, probably nothing. So you see these are pretty good size homes here. Again, in very good shape. This is a big difference between Italy and here, or a lot of Europe, East Europe of course, and here. The quality of homes, you know, how well kept they are. And it tells you two things: one, people care; two, also they have money. So just care won't help you. Just caring won't help you if you don't have money to maintain them. Yeah, I thought it won't be fair to finish this video without showing you how they're managing their trash. Okay, so this is not all the trash. Most of the trash gets collected from front of your home, but this is for glass. So they have special collection containers for glass. So if you have any glass, as you are driving out of the village, bring your glass with you and throw the glass here. So there is green glass or pointed glass here, and there is white glass. So yeah, and also if you want to donate something, you know, you have some old stuff, just don't throw it in the trash, you know. You can put it here. Austrian Red Cross is here, and they will collect it from here, and they will hopefully give it to people who really need the stuff. So yeah, you don't see any trash here. Just look at the streets here. There is no trash at all. Nobody will even throw a piece of paper, and that is the Austrian way of life. And when people come here, it is expected. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what you know those countries are used to, or what the system, you know, is used to there. The expectation is that you adopt these customs, these unwritten, in some cases written actually. You adopt and embrace these rules. So this is all they ask for, you know. If you come to a country, it is good to respect the rules of that country. It's very important. I think otherwise, of course, you know, people are going to be forming opinions about you, and they lead to backlash against everybody then. You know, there are only few, I often say this, there are few bad actors, right? But because of those few bad actors, everybody has to face the consequences, you know. So this is important to respect the rule of the land.